Hey guys, what's poppin'? It's Wake Up Missoula time. I'm Scott Ramp, and this is the last Wake Up Missoula that we're going to be doing at 8 in the morning. We're going to be starting doing our Wake Up Missoula at 9 every Wednesday and Friday starting, not next week, but the week after, the 21st of June. And I know that for a fact in my brain. So yeah, that's what's going to happen, but you'll still be able to access it all online by logging on to wakeupmissoula.wixsite.com/wakeupmissoula. So nice, we made you write it out all twice. You can also find us on mcat.org, and you can watch us on video on demand, but also you could subscribe to us on YouTube. You can like us on Facebook, and you can follow us on Twitter. I usually don't get to that part until pretty much halfway or towards the end of the show, but I just wanted to kind of like talk about that just a little bit. But I have a lot to talk about today. I got some weather, some news that are happening on, because I'm going to talk about the story in reaction to Comey's testimony. I got some weather stuff, so you guys can expect some weather happening this weekend as well. I got a Flagship Friday video of the week entitled Indoorzia. It's their idea, not mine. So I got some city council. They're talking about the City of Missoula Cemetery Board selling monuments, and how a lot of the funeral homes in town are up in arms against that. So we'll talk about that. I have some events, and I have a brand new art clip from the Clay Studio, and since it's from the Clay Studio, it will probably end pretty soon, so you guys only have a short amount of time to check out a bunch of art installation. But let's kick it off with a little bit of weather. It is currently 52 degrees outside. Your high is going to be 65. Your low is going to be 45. You have that 50 to 70% chance of showers starting today and going through tonight, with a lower chance on Saturday for your farmers market. So if you guys are planning on going to the farmers market, be aware it probably will be raining, about 40% chance of rain, so you might need to wear a nice raincoat and whatnot, but you could just bring like a small umbrella. It doesn't seem like it's going to be a big deal in terms of rain. So Saturday night's going to be mostly cloudy, lows into the 40s. Your high is going to be on 71 on Sunday, so it looks like Sunday would be the day to do any kind of picnicking or outdoor activities. But if you're not afraid of no rain, Saturday would be just as fine as any other day. But Sunday night through Monday, you can expect those rains to start picking up once again for some of those summer showers. Summer isn't officially started yet until like mid to late June, so we're still technically in spring, so it would be a spring shower. Here are some of the things that are happening in the news. In the local news, a new sushi restaurant is going to be opening in town, because nobody knows sushi like a landlocked Montana. So they're going to be opening on like Front Street, the old McKenzie River Pizza, and they're going to be like, it's going to be like 2 floors of sushi. And it's gonna be, but the thing about this one is it's also going to be like a full bar type of deal, so you can get drunk and eat sushi. Because, hey, it's Montana. Anyways, Animal Wonders, let's transition from more adult things to more fun things for the kids. Today, Animal Wonders is doing a end of the school year ice cream social at the University of Montana Spectrum Discovery Center. It's starting at 11 a.m. during the museum hours. They usually open it up from 11 to about 5, 6 o'clock, and they're inviting kids. It's usually a first come, first serve basis for kids to come down and have some free ice cream until it runs out. There's also going to be Animal Wonders there. So if you don't know what Animal Wonders is, it is a nonprofit 501(c) nonprofit that rescues animals from closed zoos in and around the United States, and basically kind of shows them off and tries to raise money to help feed these animals. Most of the money that they raise goes to feeding the animals and the people who run Animal Wonders. But that's kind of what's happening here locally in Missoula. It is the last day of school for a lot of the kids. I'm going to be gone all next week for my little vacation. I'm going to a graduation. One of my cousins is graduating from high school, so that's something I'm doing. So I less personal stuff. Let's move on. Phillipsburg will be doing a showing of an old jail cell from the 19th century as part of a museum's newest installation. The museum in Phillipsburg was like a police museum, and they thought maybe they could move to a bigger city to get more foot traffic, but the foot traffic didn't match the amount of costs that went up in 2011 when they moved to Great Falls. So it was basically put into storage, and then now they're kind of reopening law enforcement kind of museum in Phillipsburg that people can check out. There's going to be a National Law Enforcement Museum is actually under construction at Washington, D.C., and is expected to open next summer. So this jail, they have a jail cell that was constructed in 1896, and it's thought to be the oldest operating jailhouse in Montana. So it's basically like a metal cage, and I would show you a picture, but I don't have it ready, so I'm just going to move on. So each Wednesday through Sunday during the summer tour season, the doors will open a free museum with displays that reflect the good, sad, bad, and ugly of law enforcement. And this is going to be in Phillipsburg, Montana. It's basically at the halfway point between Missoula and Butte, and it's an alternative route. So you have to turn off in one of the junctions on I-90. So moving on, national news. If you haven't already heard, I kind of teased it a little bit earlier in the show that James Comey finally spoke at the Russian investigation hearings Thursday, and what people are expecting is him to drag Trump's name through the mud. But basically, what really showed was Attorney General Jeff Sessions was the one who was linked heavily with in terms of being the subject of scrutiny over his failure to disclose meetings with Russian ambassador to the U.S. Sergei Kazak during the 2016 campaign, which Sessions has defended as routine as part of his duties as a U.S. Senator. In Trump's case, Comey detailed a private conversation with President Trump in the Oval Office shortly after National Security Advisor Michael Flynn was forced to resign, in which Comey recalls the president saying, "I hope you can see your way clear to letting this go, to letting Flynn go. He is a good guy. I hope you can let this go." Democrats pounced on Thursday after hearing Comey's suggestive language about facts that I cannot discuss in an open setting. Sessions will soon face questions from senators. He is scheduled to testify. So Attorney General Sessions will be testifying Tuesday in the committee hearing about the 2018 budget for the Department of Justice, but it's pretty sure that they will be talking about Russia as well. So around 4 a.m. this morning, Trump couldn't quite keep himself to comment on Comey by saying he was a leaker after calling him a liar. So that's kind of what's happening now with this investigation. So I'll basically you just check it out. I found this on NPR.org, and of course that's all over the news circuit. You can't miss it, even if you wanted to. So that kind of concludes everything that you need to know what's happening with all the news items. I have a bunch of new programs that are going to be on MCAT today, and I'm pretty excited. There's a lot of good programs on this weekend that you guys can watch. I've shown a couple of these before. But of course, I took a lot of really good quotes from this one as well. And without further ado, here is some of the new programs that you guys can watch tonight. And when I come back, I'm going to do some pre-critic.
Jobin Suleiman from Senegal, 1731, heading to the Gambia, going there to have some transaction with the Portuguese that are there, captured, sent on a ship, or before he gets to the ship, he's of nobility. He is educated, he's literate, he's just an all-around great guy. And what he says is that if you hold on for a moment, I will get you finances from my father that will pay for my release. They wait, the letter, he writes a letter to his father, the letter makes it to his father. As his father sends a delegation back to free his son, the ship has already sailed for America.
For women, you're allowed to talk while you're peeing. You are. You can be in your stall and you can talk to someone way across it, and it's socially okay. Not okay with men. You typically are silent. In fact, it's quite uncomfortable if someone's talking to you. Apparently. This is what my husband tells me mostly. But also think about locker rooms. Okay. When there's a whole series of lockers, so you're going in, and we're going to go take them swimming, which is honestly the best part of their day, is being able to go swim at the Grizz pool. Well, that involves them changing themselves, putting their things in the locker. But when you go to a locker room, and you have a whole row of lockers, if someone's at this locker, you're not supposed to go to the locker next to them. Our social norms say, do a couple over, or all the way across. There's nothing written about this rule. I don't know how we know that this is a rule, but if you break the rule, people are going to look at you. And they're going to be like, really? Seriously, there's a whole thing of lockers down there. You could have moved over.
As many of you have probably explained to your parents and grandparents, Brian's our speaker. He thinks he's funny. The class seems to like him, and hopefully he'll keep it short. To which I respond, thank you, aw, and no. I want to thank my classmates and assure both the class and the faculty that I have spent the same amount of time, energy, and diligence writing these remarks as I do with all my writing assignments in all of your classes. I wrote one draft last night. Speaking of thank yous, I'm withholding thanks from Northwestern University for not accepting me. It's an honor to speak here today, and I apologize if this comes off as a bit of a lecture. And to that extent, most of you have Facebook on your phones, so feel free to treat this as every lecture you've attended this semester.
And you guys can find out more on that by logging on to mcat.org. All those new programs and all those new videos. And also, some of our more local programming is Asaph Cafe. He's a piano player. He's a resident here in Missoula, and you guys can watch him. He did a tribute to The Price is Right with Bob Barker, the old school Price is Right. So you guys can watch that on MCAT anytime, or you can watch it on YouTube as well. Just look up Asaph Cafe. And he's up to about 170 plus episodes. So I look forward to seeing him on his 200th episode, which will probably do a nice little celebration from him as well. So let's talk about some new movies that are coming out this weekend. Pretty much came out today, and for the hardcore people who cannot wait to watch movies, last night. So let's kick it off with the first movie. This is supposed to be a launch of another universe. So basically, movies are kind of adjusting to the whole episodic kind of deal. So not your Brendan Fraser or Boris Karloff mummy movies, but a whole new movie following a can-do-anything man put in a situation where he cannot understand what's going on, and yet he still finds ways to survive. And in this movie, blah, 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 you could join a ragtag group of people as they try to understand the dark universe, as I kind of described, while at the same time fighting a mummy who is so less important than the movie, and that basically they're so less important to this movie that they're more interested in introducing a bunch of characters and a whole monster slate for future movies to come, because Dr. Jekyll is in this movie. It's ridiculous. So, moving on. Here is another movie that is one of those horror movies that you have to see. So have you ever wanted to go see a horror movie that's in a cabin in the woods? Oh wow, this is one of the first ones that ever does it, right? So why not wait further, for this movie is about just that. It Comes at Night is all about the insert is a troubled family and all sorts of fun in the home. People Airbnb. Let me guess, a mysterious stranger comes along, throwing off their family's dynamic, forcing them to work together to fight a force, the nature, but barely make it out of it. Barely make it out of it, mind you. But they make it and live happily ever after. It's a horror film. You get what you pay for, more or less. I watched Get Out, which is technically a horror genre-defining film. This might be one of those movies that a lot of critics are saying, but probably not. It's just a horror film. It kind of seems like they are trying to get directors from critically acclaimed thriller horrors and making them into box office heavy hitters. So basically, the director of this movie will probably be directing another Spider-Man movie. So anyways, the hero, or as I like to call it, Sam Elliott, the movie. The hero stars Sam Elliott from Roadhouse and the voice of Smokey the Bear to get a movie about a guy who's reluctant to be a hero. I'm pretty sure that's what it is about. But like any of those other kind of movies that decide that being a hero can be good, to influence, be a good influence on people, but something happens and that he ends up being a better hero for not being a hero that people want but deserves. That's basically a nice little Batman the Dark Knight reference there. But I will move on because I'm done with pre-critic. So that kind of concludes everything that you need to know what's happening for your movies this weekend. You may want to go check out Wonder Woman. I saw it last weekend, and I've heard a couple things for it and a couple things that are against it. And yeah, I mean, it's a movie. That's what it is. It's like if you get entertainment from it, great. If you don't go to movies. You know, whatever. So I have a Flagship Friday video of the week, and it stars the kids from C.S. Porter Elementary School. So without further ado, here is Indoorzia for your Flagship Friday video of the week.
Look, I know it might sound like me being a stereotypical, like, angsty and sarcastic, like, character, but, could you please stop tap dancing?
I just like tap dancing after a big test.
Yeah, what if you fail the test?
I dance some more! What do you do?
Get some rope. Scarf man, get him! What kind of mystical creature is this? No one wears scarves inside.
What? I wear this. This is my Infinity Scarf X with extra glitter. As you can tell, it holds 1,000 versions of fabulousness. Ta! So much fun, but where can you get a scarf like that?
I'm glad you asked.
Hi, I am Fabular, and this is the Indoorzia Infinity Scarf given by GX. Just listen to this guy.
Thanks to the Infinity Scarf. Yes. I'm so much better with my life stuff. Very nice.
And that's just one happy customer. Follow me. We'll take you on a brand new guide to...
How did he get there?
I don't know, but I'm happy!
3 easy payments of $4,999.
You'll get one of these Indoorzia Infinity Scarves with an Indoorzia pamphlet and a guide and...
He's getting away! Get him!
Hold on there. You three upset my minion, you're gonna get it.
3?
I'm Harrison. Been here. Oh wait.
So what I'm gonna do to you right now is what I'm going to do to you. Will you just hurry up in there?
Sorry, I'm just washing my hands. Oh, there's no more paper towels.
Just use your shirt.
Fine. Hi.
Who are you?
I'm so excited.
I'm the witch around this place.
From the west side to the east side, she is the witch in this business. Ish. Itch. I want to be a witch too.
No.
I'm still happy anyways.
Am I still relevant?
No.
Come on, minion, we have work to do.
Shouldn't we give him a break? He works like 90 hours a day.
Fine, you have a break for today.
Wait.
You have a break.
I'm on a break for 3 hours.
I messed up. But you get to watch the east side for me. Okay, now for you to... Where'd you go?
Good thing we resolved that conflict. I mean, that would have led to conflict. I don't like conflict. I just want to eat food and not do conflict. Conflict is bad, just no conflict.
What are you doing still here?
My favorite musician is Benedict Cumberbatch.
Whoa, what's that?
I don't know.
Maybe we should like call police, like someone's dead. This might be an issue.
We should probably do.
Beep, 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 beep. It's dead.
Dang dog! She's dead. My dude, which? She's dead!
Yeah, so that was that. Just so you guys know, that one part with the, like, it kind of looks like I left it rolling for a little longer than I should have. That was intentional, just so you guys know. So let's move on. So let's talk about some things that are happening in and around Missoula in terms of city council. This is the Parks and Recreation meeting that I did not too long ago. No, Parks and Conservation was a meeting that happened on Wednesday, and Missoula Cemetery Board is looking to update the ordinance altogether with fees and open hours. Many funeral homes in Missoula area are concerned about government being involved with funeral services that have been a part of local businesses. The Missoula City of Commerce sent a cease and desist letter about this months ago when they were talking about an ordinance change and whatnot, in terms of, preventing the City of Missoula from basically providing funeral services for citizens. So Rachel Parkin, she is a lawyer for Garden City Monument Funeral Parlor, and this is her opening public comment in the public comment section.
Already heard some of our concerns. We thank you again for the opportunity to come a couple months ago and talk about those. In particular, these red line revisions to the ordinances, there's some that are very concerning. On page 16 of those, you'll note in particular there is changes to a section titled installation. This requires that all monuments be set by the cemetery itself. So other monument companies will no longer be able to set their own monuments. Another area of particular concern I'd like to point out is on page 25 of those ordinances. On page 25, you'll see that the Missoula City Cemetery, it's Section B authority. The Missoula City Cemetery Board of Trustees is authorized to make rules, policies, and regulations. Removing from that section is subject to the approval of the Missoula City Council. I think that removes quite a bit of oversight that's necessary and important. So these are, again, just a few really important things that I want to draw to your attention. And again, I want to emphasize that we're here and we certainly object to the city cemetery engaging in an enterprise that competes with local businesses. We don't think that's good for Missoula.
All right, so that was lawyer Rachel Parkins, or actually it's Rachel Park. Sorry, I got to clear that up just a little bit. My bad. She is a lawyer for Garden City Monument Funeral Parlor. The main issue, as you heard, was the Missoula funeral parlors are concerned that the City of Missoula would be competition and also have the power to regulate their own bylaws when it comes to running a cemetery. So like the size of the monuments, this kind of stuff is like, so this monument's too size. So well, we have the board. So hey board, would it be cool if we do it a little bit bigger? It's like, yeah, sure. And then the funeral parlor would be like, is it cool if we do this? And then be like, no. So that's some of the issues. That's kind of what's going on there. That's some of the concerns of what a lot of these people are saying. So Tyson Moore, he is from Garden City Funeral Home, and he talks about some of his concerns.
I just find it bad practice for a city cemetery to compete with established business. I've dealt with many cemeteries in many states, and if there was not established business performing this service, I would say then the city should offer that service. But that's not the case. Local business is doing a fine job of providing these services. And thank you. Thanks.
All right, so I have another quote. I'm going to skip right on over to Moore also mentions that business would have to lower their costs to compete and would have to get sustainable revenue from elsewhere. Rick Evans, owner of Garden City Funeral Homes, he talks about people losing their jobs.
I have 1.5 to 2 people employed helping us with monument sales. If we start digging into the sales, there goes my employees. It just doesn't make sense. The city also wants to, and again, I'm going to reiterate what Tyson said about reducing the liner sales. Right now, the city does not allow me to sell liners, which I find totally terrible. I missed it when this rule came in, and it's my fault because I didn't come to the hearing. I missed it. I didn't know it was happening. It was my fault. But for them to say that I can't sell a liner in their cemetery or a vault, I can sell a vault but not a liner, I think is unfair practice. And now they're going to reduce the price of a liner from $800 to $600. National average for a liner, a concrete liner for a casket, is anywhere from $1,800 to $1,900. And now we're going to reduce it down, and we're going to reduce revenue to the city. It doesn't make sense.
All right, so that was the owner of Garden City Funeral Home and Crematoria. That's Rick Evans. So here's Clem Person. He's from the Missoula Chamber of Commerce, and he's the one that kind of gathered a lot of the businesses together to write a cease and desist letter for the City of Missoula. And he talks about the points that will affect local businesses. And this is what he has to say.
Paragraphs that talk about who makes decisions on variance requests or who makes decisions on whether or not work is acceptable at the cemetery. All of those are covered by the Missoula Cemetery Board of Directors or the director. That creates an unfair competition setup where they can decide that their own work is fine while everyone else's is awful. So they can essentially put people out of business simply by saying your work doesn't meet our guidelines and ours does. Especially with the point that Rachel made, where they take out oversight in these ordinances from the city council itself. That's setting up a bad precedent, and it's setting up a situation where companies, even if we talk about the grant legality of the city getting into this business, that creates an unfair competition situation where there's no path for recourse other than a lawsuit, which I'm assuming we all want to avoid. So for that reason, it would be our preference that the cemetery not get into the business of selling and placing monuments, but if it were, then there needs to be some kind of oversight board set up so that allows for someone else to be making the decisions on what kind of work is acceptable and what kind of work is not, since the cemetery board will be running the business side of monument sales.
All right, so that was concerns from the Missoula City of Commerce, Clem Person. Mary Ellen Stubb, the Missoula Cemetery Board, talks about the fees and the ordinance.
We were going through all of the fees, not just some of them. And like on the liner, we were looking at them, and it cost us $190 to purchase that liner, and we were selling them for $800. And we just felt that was too big of a markup, and that's why we lowered that one to $600.
Okay. Well.
All right, so I have another quote from John Wilkins, who's basically against the ordinance and having the sales. But so this is how he responds to what's going on.
And that we're intruding on private business in the city of Missoula, and I feel this is one of them right here, that we're intruding on private business with the liners, with the setting of the stones, the selling. The liability issue really bothers me, because I'd hate to spend all that money on a stone out there and something happened to it and it wasn't my fault. What do I do? So that, I think the board needs to sit down and really have a good conversation before a public meeting and maybe work out some of these details like this, and then come back and let us know.
All right, so that was John Wilkins on the City Council Board, reflecting his concerns about City of Missoula going into business in the cemetery business. So Julie Armstrong talks monument sale and liability, to which Ron Reagan responds, and he is also in the meeting on the cemetery board.
And I will tell you, I'm absolutely not comfortable with the cemetery selling monuments. I am more comfortable with the cemetery setting monuments and or at least setting all the foundations, because that seems like that mitigates the quality control problem that you're having with the private companies coming in. But if you can explain the using an outside monument company, will you still be using the private companies to buy monuments?
Yes. We will be using an outside company. We will go through another dealer, monument company. There's several on board doing it, and that comes with proofs. People sign off, design them, they sign off on them. This is how it is. If it comes in wrong, the monument dealer is responsible for it, not the Missoula Cemetery.
So that's basically kind of help clearing up, because some of the issues with this ordinance as well is that the liability kind of seemed like it was going to be more on the people who buy the monuments rather than the people who set them. So they're going to work on that a little bit more. So later on, Brian von Lossberg speaks on this, and he gives a solution to what both the folks who run the business side of funeral homes and also the cemetery board.
From my perspective, the point of the cemetery is to serve the public. The point of the cemetery is not to provide business opportunities to businesses in the area. That is a great thing as it works out. But the first and foremost consideration is that we're serving the customers who are, it's kind of an odd situation to be talking about customers, but making sure the public is served in regards of what the cemetery is set up to do. Now, I'd love to see that work out in a way where we, city government is often criticized for not being efficient and cost-focused enough and not a consideration relative to revenue and expenses, and you can kind of get attacked from both ends of it. So I felt comfortable when we made the decision to purchase the plotter. We also had zero public comment against it. And so we made that authorization, and it was reviewed multiple times in committee and reviewed multiple times at council consideration of the full budget. So that's a long-winded way of me saying it's perfectly valid to have multiple views on this, but I for one don't see a bright line in this. All of that said, I think what I'd like to do, let me propose this and get feedback from folks and kind of do a straw poll, is to hold this for a week. I'd like to get some answers. I'd like City Attorney's Office to take a look at the language around liability and see if there's any sort of improvements or clarifications to that language.
All right, so that was Brian von Lossberg, and so what they ended up doing is that for 2 weeks they're going to organize, and the lawyers for Garden City Harvest and the businesses are going to come up with a written list of things that they have issues with in terms of this ordinance update and in terms of what the City of Missoula is doing. So they'll be talking about this in committee exactly 2 weeks from Wednesday. So we'll find out more about that when I come back from my week-long hiatus. So yeah, it'll be for the June 21st meeting, committee meeting of Parks and Conservation. So whether you agree with one over the other, one thing is for sure is that you can log on to ci.missoula.mt.us to find out everything you need to know what's happening in the City of Missoula in terms of government, events, all sorts of wonderful things, and you can watch any of these meetings at any given time. So you can so I kind of show you the brief. And I use the word brief very loosely when I give these city council reports. And it was a nice little committee meeting, and I suggest if you want to learn more information, you can actually watch the whole entire meeting. They have the minutes posted on their SIRE data website. It's a nice little website which basically shows you this. It's wonderful. You have the video in the right-hand corner, you have all your agenda items, and I just open the agenda form of it. If I open the minutes, then it becomes a huge long list of people making points, and it's kind of a loose interpretation of it because since the City of Missoula has been relying on MCAT to film all the city meetings, is that they use the video representation as their minutes. So that's pretty... I don't know why I'm expanding this a little bit more, so you can find more information, ci.missoula.mt.us. You can also Google City of Missoula, and this is the first website that usually pops up in the links, and you can log on and you can find out more information about the upcoming meetings, and you can watch past meetings any given time. So I have a brand new art clip for you guys. It's from the Clay Studio of Missoula, and it is featuring beautiful artworks on clay pots and pans and all sorts of things. It's like a nice little 3D thing. So if you look at it from one angle, it's like, oh, this is really cool. And then you add another angle, it's like, whoa, it's like a completely different piece of artwork. So you guys can check this out anytime this month at the Clay Studio. And it says it ends on June 30th. So you have until the end of this month to check out the Clay Studio. But here's a nice little tease on what you guys can expect from it. Thanks to Rick Phillips for producing and editing that nice little montage of art from the Clay Studio of Missoula. Here are some of your events that are happening in and around Missoula. We're kicking things off with Memories in the Making art training at the Missoula Senior Center. Alzheimer's Association presents Memories in the Making. It's an art program to enhance communication designed for aging services providers, caregivers, families, members, volunteers, and students. To RSVP, you can call them at 406-252-3053. There's an extension number, but you can also find out more information by going to MissoulaSeniorCenter.org. Kids Bounce Time and Play Time and the Missoula Indoor Sports Arena, MISA, provides an open play to the entire family, including an inflated park for kids aged 2 to 12. Open play happens from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Monday through Saturday, and 4 p.m. through 6:30 p.m. Monday through Thursday. Face painting is happening at Family's First Children's Museum from 11 to 11:30 this morning. You can check it out. It's going to be some face painting. You know, it's very, very self-explanatory. Teen Writers Group is going to be at the Missoula Public Library. So if teens are just getting fresh out of high school and just saying, oh no, I'm slowly losing what I learned in high school, it's a great way to stay in touch with their writing skills, improve their writing skills, because what any writer will tell you is that if you're going to be a writer, you're going to have to rewrite everything at least 10 times before you get it right. So Indigenous Film Festival is at the Missoula Children's Theater tonight at 5 p.m. The Missoula Urban Indian Health Center is organizing the first annual Indigenous Film Festival for the City of Missoula, June 9th, 10th, and 11th. The theme of this festival is resilience, and there will also be 6 screens across 3 days. Sorry, that was like big breath. With 2 a night, there will be screens for both youth and adults each night, and childcare will be provided. Snacks will be provided by Le Petit Autre, Good Food Store, Great Harvest, Rosars. You can call them any questions at 829-9515. That's 829-9515, 5 p.m., Missoula Children's Theater Indigenous Film Festival. And it's happening all weekend long. It's going to be great. Monster trucks are hitting up the Missoula Fairgrounds tonight at 5:30 p.m. Northwest Monster Nationalist, June 9th and 10th at 7 p.m. Tickets are on sale, so the Pit Party starts at 5:30 p.m. for both days. You can come in and enjoy the show. You see some monster trucks crush some cars, but the really fun part is that they take a lot of old vehicles, restore them as best as they can, and then they basically do a bunch of jumps and stuff. So it's going to be great. It's going to be wonderful. Here are some of your music events that are happening for your Friday night. You have at the Wilma Theater, Hell Yeah is happening, and there's no space between the hell and the yeah. And it's going to be rock music starting at 7 p.m. Timber Rattlers at Imagination Brewing Company. Dead Hipster presents I Love the 90s. So if you love the 90s and love 90s music, enjoy some 90s music at the Badlander tonight. Cash for Junkers is going to be the Union Club. Letter B, it's going to be some rock, funk, cover band type music. It's going to be at the Top Hat Lounge. And that's all it for Friday. I have a bunch of PSAs I want to show you guys. So when I come back, I'll have all your, let's see, let me just get it all set for you. Yes, that's the one. So I have a bunch of PSAs for you guys, and when I come back, I'll talk everything you guys need to know for your weekend.
Without MCAT, without Community Access Television, and the many supporters of community programming, we wouldn't be able to do that. So thanks, MCAT. Happy birthday. Lovely to see you all. And we'll see you on Monday night.
So again, thank you, MCAT, for all that you do for this community. And we look forward to another 3 decades.
And congratulations on MCAT for 27 years. And let's keep it going for many, many more.
So again, congratulations to MCAT on 27 years of service to the community. We're hoping for many, many, many more.
So we're so grateful. Thank you, MCAT. Love you guys.
And nobody does a better job of informing, empowering, and engaging people than MCAT. So happy birthday, MCAT.
No matter what you're planning, if you plan to drink, plan to have a friend get you home. Get ride home ideas and tools at plantolive.mt.gov.
For too long, corporate tobacco has exploited our people, manipulated our practices, and profited from our addiction. No more. If you struggle with commercial tobacco addiction, call the American Indian Commercial Tobacco Quit Line today at 1-855-372-0037 and talk to someone who understands.
Nature Nathan here, on my own in the Montana wild. I'm used to having my best mate Liam behind the camera, but he said he was rather tired of getting chased by bears. The show must go on. Set up quite nice, really. Stuff from a lovely fish dinner. And I've got my bear spray. Oh well, I should be fine for the evening.
When adventuring in bear country, remember, hike in groups. Bring bear spray and know how to use it. Make noise and don't run. Be bear aware.
Sergeant Greg Amison with the Missoula Police Department. I'd like to talk a little bit about bicycles riding on the sidewalks in the city of Missoula, which we see a lot because Missoula is a very bike-friendly town. I would just like to let bicyclists know that they do have to yield to pedestrians on the sidewalk safely because they travel faster than a pedestrian, so they do have to do that in a safe manner. And then when you get to a crosswalk, you are actually required to slow your bicycle down to what would be called a pedestrian pace, and you cannot begin crossing until it's safe to do so.
Your smartphone can help you find a bar, alert your friends that you're in the bar, update you on your team while you're at the bar, and now, let you know you need a ride home from the bar. That is smart. Download blood alcohol calculators for your phone at plantolive.mt.gov.
Buckle up, Montana. Life is a ride you want to stay on. Send a buckle up reminder to a friend at plantolive.mt.gov.
Hey guys, welcome back. It's Saturday, but not really. Here are some of your Saturday events that are happening in and around Missoula. Starting tomorrow, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., all your farmers market excitement happening under the Higgins Street Bridge, happening by the Red X's, and happening on Pine Street, right in front of the Thomas Mar Bar. So you guys can check out all sorts of things. You got snacks, food, produce. There's all sorts of bunch of stuff happening there, and also the Knick-Knack Market that's on Pine. Don't want to forget about them. Basic silversmithing. If you're interested in doing some silversmithing, Dickinson Lifelong Learning Center is a one-day class. You will learn how to cut and pierce with a jewelry saw, use hammers to texture metal with stamps, wire, and lace to create cold connections using rivels and eyelets. You will use these skills to cut designs in sheet metal, textures, and metal that will make connections to create your at least one pendant. They will be working with copper, brass, and silver, all materials provided, and you should bring a snack lunch because it might take a little while to figure it out. CPR and first aid at the Dickinson Lifelong Learning Center. This combination class includes a heart saver, first aid, and adult child infant CPR. This focuses on the course is hands-on instruction with basic management of illness and injuries in the first few minutes until professional help arrives. Techniques include how to stop bleeding and that can be seen, ways to help with possible broken bones and or sprains, safety in scenes, a basic AED, and life-saving CPR. And you can check this out. You can go to MissoulaClasses.com to sign up, and it's going to be at the Dickinson Lifelong Learning Center starting tomorrow at 8:30 in the morning. If you're not into the silversmithing, silversmithing will probably help yourself. CPR could help others. Family Adventure Camp is going to be at Cabela's Missoula. Cabela, a profit, is going to be doing a nice little family for free and fun and summer activities, including a bouncy house, inflatable kid slides, safe archery and BB gun range activities, kids fishing. So if you have a kid who just wants to get a little taste of outdoorsmanships and I guess bounce houses ships, you can do that. It's going to be at Cabela's at 10 a.m. and I don't know how long it's going to be. It's going to be on maybe for a couple hours, so you can check it out. Fourth Annual Tibetan Cultural Festival, the Iwam Garden of 1,000 Buddhas, basically happening all day Saturday. MCAT will be live streaming at 8 a.m. in the morning, 8 a.m. to about 9 a.m., and then MCAT will basically be covering a lot of the events that are happening in the Iwam Garden of 1,000 Buddhas. It's up near Arley. You can't miss it. And it's a nice little farm where they have over 1,000 Buddhas, and they have a nice little monument there. And MCAT will be live streaming it that morning as well. It's going to be a lot for a lot of other countries that will be watching it from overseas, so they can and join in on the prayer. So this is one of their bigger events that happen, but their biggest event is the Peace Festival that happens at the end of the summer. So look for that later on. Radio Party is going to be at Free Cycles in Missoula at 2 p.m. KGBA and KFGM, along with the ZAC and Camp Days, and Free Cycles presents a full all-age fundraising event to allow Missoula Community Radio to purchase some new equipment featuring a variety of bike activities, bike painting, bike pedaling, bike polo, bike jousting, and more. Live music from Rooster Sauce, Magpies, Ancient Forest, and at least 1 ton more. Beers from Bayern Brewing. You can bring your own mug, dog grilling, and raffle prizes for the whole family from 2 p.m. to 9 p.m. A suggested donation is $5. Is requested at the door, and you can check the Facebook event page to find out more information. It's going to be Free Cycles, Missoula, 2 p.m., happening pretty much all day, bunch of music, and it should be great. Nice little Saturday event. Equality March is happening on a Sunday, so here are some Sunday events as well. Just throwing at you. You got Equality March, and this is going to be like what Missoula is doing for Pride, because this weekend is also Pride for LGBT, IQ plus communities, and Equality March is what Missoula is going to be doing for their LGBTQ community. So that happens at 1 p.m. at the Higgins Street Bridge, and you start at the Red X's, and you can join in this march. You don't have to be LGBTQ to support. You can just be there to show support, and you can watch. You can join the parade. They invite anybody and everybody to be a part of this. The Symphony Sorcy is going to be at the Wilma Theater. Walk the red carpet at the Wilma Theater and join Missoula Symphony for the 5th annual Symphony Soiree. This event includes a champagne cocktail hour with past appetizers, a 4-course dinner, and a 5-star cuisine provided by Bravo Catering. It's going to be all sorts of wonderful things, and it's going to be at 5:30 p.m. at the Wilma Theater. And you pretty much can get tickets the day of, but you should look it up in terms of cost, because it's going to be a 4-course dinner along with some symphony music. So it's going to be a really fancy night. You have Ugandan Kids Choir at Florence Dayspring Church. A choir brings a message of hope, sharing the power of God's love through the traditional music and dance. Their purpose is to change children's lives. They want to share with you the hope and love they found through the child sponsorship. Invite you to start your own journey together with a child. They are sponsored by Children's Worldwide, a ministry that focuses on education based on the gospel. And this is a Ugandan kids choir happening at 6 p.m. at the Florence Dayspring Church. So a lot of stuff going on this weekend, and you guys can find out more information by going to MissoulaEvents.net. And to find out more information about MCAT and Wake Up Missoula, you can go on to wakeupmissoula.wixsite.com/wakeupmissoula. Be sure to subscribe, like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter. I'll give you everything you need to know. And you can also go to mcat.org and be sure to follow MCAT on Twitter at MCATTVMissoula. That's pretty much it. Oh, next Wednesday, orientation. So every second Wednesday of the month, we have an orientation from 5:30 to about 6:30 p.m. We make you watch a 10, 8 minutes, 2 minutes, like -3 minute orientation video on what MCAT's all about and how you can get involved with Missoula Community Access Television. Now, Missoula's community media resource, giving you the opportunity to make your own videos, YouTube, all sorts of wonderful things, and make your own show, kind of like what I'm doing right now. So without further ado, I want to thank you guys for joining me this morning. And for Wake Up Missoula, I'm Scott Ramph. I hope you have a great weekend. I will see you in 2 weeks.